This chakra is placed at the back of the sternum bone, as I told you. In childhood, the antibodies are formed in the sternum bone. They are the warriors or the Sainikas of the Devi. Until the age of 12 years, they grow and multiply, and ultimately they all get distributed all over the body. And a human being is made able to face any outside invasion on him. These antibodies know how to fight. They are extremely confident and they know who are their enemies. They have all these messages built in themselves. So when the anti-God element enters into the being through any process, say through food, through words, through action, through devilish people or black magic, these antibodies combine together, collectively fight the invaders. Those who do not have their central heart properly developed suffer from tremendous insecurity all their lives. When they are children, you try to control them by frightening. These children later on become extremely insecure. They are afraid of darkness, they are afraid of night, some of them are afraid of everything. Because the antibodies that are built in the body are not sufficient in number. And being this center so weak, the person feels extremely insecure. Later on in life, when the child goes to the school or he tries to work, out something for the future, then also his confidence can be shaken by parents, teachers and outside people. So it is very important to understand children who are growing. In the West, they analyze everything and try to put human beings into compartments. First, the child is a child according to them. Child has no innocence and is extremely selfish. Second part is adolescence, which they think is a very arbitrary, moody stuff. In India, we do not know that there is something like adolescence. Now these adolescent people form a group and they start criticizing or making fun of all the elders. At a very young age it starts. First they make fun of the teachers, then of the parents, then of all the people who are senior to them. they start becoming extremely active in their brains because they see too many televisions and things like that. And then they start behaving at a very young age in such a violent ways that one cannot imagine. I used to live about 25 miles away from London. And every time I would go to London, I would find some children doing some sort of a mischief somewhere. But one day some of them entered into my compartment. And they started pulling out all the covers, thrusting their knives into the seats, opening out all the upholstery. I was just sitting and watching. So I said, "Now are you tired? Please sit down. What's the problem?" They said, "We are all very angry." I said, "For what? Why are you angry?" He said, "We are just angry." I said, "But you have to be angry for something." They were children going to good schools, definitely wearing very good clothes. And then I had to, when the train stopped, I called the ticket collector and told him that these boys have been doing all this hooliganism in the compartment and you better look at it. And he came in and he said, "This is a common thing." And then somehow or other he took them out. But the only thing I felt about them is that all of them had their center heart catching. On the Kundalini, they are catching their center heart. But when they saw me, they sat down. They were quiet. They listened to me. I settled their center heart. And most of them said, "We are angry with our mother." Why? Because our brothers are angry. But why your brothers are angry? Then I discovered that Freud has given these funny ideas against the mother. Mother itself, can you imagine? What an anti-God activity it is. To an India, mother is the primal thing. Any Indian. Because his sense of security lies in the mother. Even if the father is hot-tempered, is angry, still they depend on the mother. Because mother knows when to get angry and when not to get angry. She has the discrimination. And she is the one who protects them. I have told you the first reason, the family insecurities. The child does not know when he comes back from school whether his mother would be there or she would be gone. They don't have mothers who can bear a lot from the husbands and smile and show no signs of their agony to their children. But the mothers in that country, I have seen, always try to use their children from all kinds of emotional blackmail, you can call it. They try to torture the child by telling all the things the husband is doing to them and whatever is the problem they are facing with the husbands. So the child is not secured by the mother, but on the contrary, child starts giving security to mother there. At a very young age it starts and the child becomes extremely negative and left-sided. He feels that he is born in a place full of hatred, insecurity and fear. When a person is frightened, this center starts breathing fast, giving rhythmic instructions to all the antibodies. With that, you feel you are getting a palpitation in the heart. This palpitation is nothing but a signal to all the antibodies to fight the emergency of an attack. But when somebody builds up insecurity later on in life, it becomes a physical problem. If they have insecurities earlier, it is an emotional problem. But later on in life, when one develops a insecurity, any kind, like a wife is insecure about her husband. Husband is a loafer or a bad man and carrying on with other women. So that motherhood of the wife is challenged. And when her motherhood is challenged, she may get the weakening of the center, by which she may suffer quite a lot and may have even breast cancer. These insecurities can be also self-made, imaginary. People can just think about it and build up some sort of insecurities which are of no actual existence. This chakra is ruined in women when they lose their only child, because their motherhood is finished, they feel. And that is the worst thing that can happen to a woman, if she is a woman. But if she is not a woman, she doesn't feel much, and she just behaves in a very manly way. And that's what I've seen in the West, that women really don't much care when their children die. But it is because they are not women. If you are a woman, you definitely feel for your children and their death. But after some time, such a woman comes back again, and she accepts the life as it is for the sake of her husband, or maybe if she has more relations or other children. She becomes extremely powerful as a reaction to what has happened. That's only possible if your center of heart is alright. Such women do not grudge, do not complain, are extremely serene and can bear up lots of things. They are extremely tolerant and can go to any extent to help their children. But they are never spoiling their children. They never spoil their children because they understand spoiling is much worse than beating the child. They never spoil their children nor ever pamper them and never get dominated by their children. They know I have to guide the child and I have to look after the child. So they look after all the ideals and righteousness and the virtues of the child. And if he tries to get out of it, they go all out to win him over, back to virtue and to better life. But those people, those women who do not care for actual growth of the child may just avoid it and escape. In the men, this chakra is caught up if they have lost their mother very early, or if their mother by chance is a very cruel woman. Also this chakra can be caught up by men if they have been to wars and if they have seen frightful things in the war. Such people could be extremely emotional and could be easily befooled by people who try to win over their emotions.